Changing the record. Hello, everybody. Tom here. I hope you're all well. Today, I want to talk about how sometimes we need to change the record. And what I mean by change the record is it's a phrase that's been used and been thrown around for years. It's about changing the mood. This is something that I think is a really great skill if you're talking to somebody who's not in a good place mentally. Now, reason for making this video today is yesterday I went to visit my uncle. I'm very close with my uncle. I have been since birth. Um, he lives literally around the corner from me, so I go and visit him about once a month to see if he's all right. Um, my uncle has had a lot of loss in his life. His youngest child, my cousin, was killed when he was 11 years old, very tragically in a car accident. And 3 years ago, my aunt passed away very suddenly, leaving him a widower and obviously without his second born child. Still has a daughter, but for him, he's had a lot of loss to put up with in life. And as you can appreciate, that's a lot for somebody to have to take. So, whatever way I can help, I will. But I know that he is of a generation that is perhaps not cuddly and not loving, and probably doesn't like to discuss his feelings. So I went round yesterday, and in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have, but I'm glad that I did because it actually, I think I helped a little bit. So obviously, yesterday was his 50 years wedding anniversary of marriage to my aunt, who's no longer with us. So as people do on anniversaries, he went to the grave to see my aunt. He got back, and as I've gone in and said hello, he's basically told me he was feeling a bit down earlier, which you can 100% understand and relate to. So I thought, well, what can I do to divert this conversation away from the sadness? All right, I don't expect him to forget my aunt. Hell no, it's his wife and the mother of his children. But rather than him have to spill his feelings out, that are quite raw at the time, thought, how can I change the conversation, divert it, change the record for the mood of what we're about to talk about? So Uncle Barry started talking about a memory of like the first time he remembered he was going to ask my grandfather for my aunt's hand in marriage. And I let him lead the conversation, and then I asked him questions to kind of get him away from the sadness of now, returning him to a happier memory, one that he would happy to talk about. So he started off with telling me what my granddad was like as a character, what they did, where they went. And from literally a 3 or 4 minute conversation, from starting off very sombre, and understandably so, it's sad for him, and I get it, to moving back to a happier time in his life when he married the love of his life. He asked his father-in-law for the hand in marriage, and then obviously the birth of his firstborn, my cousin. Within literally 3 or 4 minutes, the conversation has gone from quite low down, quite sad, to happy and almost laughing. And while that was not my intention was to maybe just change the subject. I think this works really well, particularly when you're talking to somebody who's gone through something and the emotions are still quite sharp and quite raw. What you need to try and do, or what I think the best thing is to do, is to very subtly change the subject of the conversation, but let that person think they've got the lead. Do this, and then show genuine interest in what they're talking about. Make them feel good that they're opening up. And then before you know it, you're back in a place where perhaps they're not as unhappy. So, very short video today. We just wanted to share that with you. Whether it was by intention or whether it was just blind luck, I did what I did. To change the mood, to change the record, isn't an easy thing sometimes. And remember that not everybody wants to talk about their emotions, men particularly not. Usually don't want to know. But if something's going into a bit of a dark place, shall we say, if you can try and lighten the mood or divert where the conversation's going, let the other person take the lead with where they want it to go. Show interest and generally be interested. Let them tell the story. Let them relive the memory. Trust me, that's probably more appreciated than he could have said at the time. Guys, first of 3 videos this week. I want to say thank you all ever so much for listening as always. Appreciate your time and energy spent here on my channel. Thank you kindly. First of 3, as I said, please put down in the comment section below. We've all suffered loss. We've all had hardships in life. When you're dealing with somebody that's like not been in a good place and they're feeling in a bad mood in the day, what do you do to try and lighten the mood? Do you make them laugh? Do you change the conversation like I did? Do you try and steer them away from perhaps the raw emotion of the situation? You know that deep down it's always going to be there, but you don't try and sugarcoat it. You just try and like take them to a better place and let them think that they've led themselves there. It's something that I think is very undervalued and it's good to do. Please, if you would, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. I'd be very grateful. And as well, if you consider giving me a thumbs up and a like, that'd be great. And let's hear that bell sign go ding dong so you know when my next content's out. Back in a few days with another video. As always, please take care of yourselves and bye for now.